Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Sunday, March 28th, 2001. It is a chilly day here in Chicago. I'm hoping one of the last kind of like chilly days that we're going to have for this like winter to spring transition. It was in the 40s today for the run this morning, but which is not that cold, but just insanely windy. And so my hands were, I had gloves on, relative like medium thickness gloves on, but by the end, my hands were just hurting because it was so cold out there. Tomorrow it's supposed to start warming up. By next weekend, when I'm hoping to run my 10K time trial, I think the highs will be in the 60s. The lows will be in like the mid 40s. So hoping for some, warmer temperatures, at least less wind for next week. But for now, it's cold. I took the girls up to the roof for a little bit today. There's like a common area up there. And it was nice to kind of check out the view, but it was super, super cold. So we were like all huddled together on the roof for no real reason other than the fact that the girls just literally needed to change the scenery. But that's what's going on today. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Let's take a second to say hi to everyone on the podcast version. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you guys are having a good run out there today or having a good commute or doing whatever it is that you're doing. And same with everyone that's watching this on YouTube live, not live, but after the fact. Hopefully you guys are also having a good day today. We got some people here live, though. We got Philip Bourne saying, good day, everyone. Philip's a day ahead of us, I think. I can never really get the time zone straight. I know you're way ahead of us, though. And Leona is here as well. She says, happy Sunday, all. Hope everyone is doing swell. Oh, that's nice. David Prabhu's here as well. Recycle on Wednesdays. Inez Dunbar. What's going on? Ooh. Inez did an Olympic distance triathlon in the shed today. 1.5K rowing. 40K cycling and 10K running. I like that. I think I'd be just as bad at rowing as swimming, but I do like the idea of throwing the rowing in there. That's nice and different. I do like that. I've seen from the pictures on his Instagram, he's got a really, really nice indoor setup going on. He's got the treadmill in there. He's got the bike. He's got the rowing machine. Really, really nice. Louis Becerra says, yo, what's going on? Kofuzi, can we get a cowbell for Mark Chancoco's insane altitude run fly? Ooh, run fly to the moon. Yeah, let's get a cowbell for that. But you guys are going to have to give me some more details on what that's all about. Awesome. All right, Will Gravel says, happy Sunday. Sorry, I think my cables are off a little bit. There's this one new cable that I bought. It's brand new, but it still acts really funny. So I'm still working on some of this stuff here, guys. Sorry about that. Will Gravel's here and Martha's here as well. Oh, Ozen Fountain Backstros. Welcome, everybody. Runner Dre and Shannon and Albert. Awesome. Rick Sutter says he had a 5K race today at a course PR. It's a hilly one, but still coming in under 20 minutes, 19:49. Well done. Cold and blistery there too. 20-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah. That's a lot. And at 56, I will take it. No, nothing. I will take it. I think anybody would take that. So at that pace at any age, but doing it with 20-mile-per-hour winds at 56, that's fantastic work, Rick. Awesome. All right. One of the things I want to talk about today, guys, is so I've been, something on YouTube that I really love, but I have no time to watch for some reason. Is there's just like this entire like subgenre of YouTube that's like lo-fi remixes or just lo-fi music set to some sort of like really basic graphic that kind of like repeats over and over again. Do any of you guys watch any of that stuff? I like there's like the lo-fi studying girl. There's that one. There's like a little cat and like every once in a while the cat's tail like will kind of like sway back and forth. And then one that I was watching is like Chicago coding, but lo-fi. So there's like this dude sitting at a computer coding, and in the background you could see like it's like someone drew it all. In the background you could see like the Sears Tower, and it's just to like kind of like jazzy lo-fi kind of trip hop type stuff, and I just love it. But I don't have time to watch or listen to any of it. So it's one of those things where I wish I had more time to enjoy that kind of thing. I don't know why, but like I don't study. I don't really read. All my reading I do while I'm running, and I listen to books. And when I'm editing, I usually can't listen to anything else at the same time. So it's like I don't have time to enjoy that. But I feel like, man, if that existed while I was studying in college, I think it would have been a lot more productive. Or maybe it would have been a lot less productive. I'm not sure. but I'm really enjoying that. And I was thinking about that today because it reminded me of something else that I've been like kind of like weirdly obsessed with on YouTube lately, which is Post Malone. Post Malone, I don't know if he's having a nervous breakdown or a rebirth. I'm not sure. Probably maybe both. But like, have you seen like Post Malone covering Hootie and the Blowfish in animated version for Pokemon? Like you guys have seen that, right? Right? It's so weird. It's so weird, but I really like it. And then I watched that, and so then YouTube fed me another video where Post Malone went to someone's studio with a whole bunch of other live country musicians, and he just sang straight up country songs for like 2 or 3 songs in a row, and that was it. It wasn't like he was putting like a hip hop spin on it. He wasn't remixing, recovering. He was just straight up singing country songs. I'm like, Post Malone likes country music? This is really weird. This is really, really weird. But I've been enjoying it. So I've been going down like a little bit of that's been my YouTube rabbit hole that I've been kind of chasing lately. Rex Sutter says, Post Malone is one of my guilty pleasures. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I mean, at first, when I first saw Post Malone, I was like, what is this? This is silly. But it took me a while, and I was like, okay, this is legit something I like. And now I do like Post Malone. He's silly, though. Have you ever seen like interviews of him? He's a very unusual guy. His Hot Ones episode is actually one of my favorite ones. Yeah, Jasper Mosey says Post Malone is so good when he's not rapping. Yeah, and Dylan P883 says he's such a talented guy. His voice works with so much. It does. It really does. It works for me. And then Stephen Hochschild, going back to where I started, Raining in Tokyo, lo-fi hip hop. I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Let's see. Endor Kish says, just pick up some Mach 4s. Excited to try them. Ride 13 were feeling a little heavy and too firm at times for a daily. Okay. All right. You know, I almost ran in the Mach 4 today. I was thinking about it. But today's run was supposed to be just an easy run. And I was like, you know, I think for the Mach 4, I'm probably going to want to put in maybe some strides just to see kind of like what they're going to feel like at a variety of paces. So I think I'm going to hold them off to maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm not sure. I've had them for like half a week, almost a week now. So I'm very excited for them. I'm cautiously optimistic for them. We'll see how they do. They are very lightweight though. I'll say that. Martha says, Mike, you missed my explanation that Chankogo's GPS had his elevation in feet equaling 37 miles. That's funny. That's funny. All right. So that's what happens with Mark. All right. Wow. How does that happen? That's quite a GPS error. All right. Gabriel F. Miller says, though, the only way I got through my thesis was lo-fi coding playlist. Really? That's amazing. See, like, I feel like, you know, I went to school. I was in college at the time of Napster, right? And so like we were just starting to get like the idea of like having just like, you know, endless kind of music, but like streaming wasn't that great. And like internet radio stations was like, if you wanted to listen to like the same 3 drum and bass beats like over and over again, you were in luck. If you didn't, you were not in luck. And so it was like really hard for me to find music that I could really like study to for a long time. And so I found myself spending a lot of time trying to find music that I could then spend a lot of time studying to, which was a really like very fancy way of saying I procrastinated a lot. But like, I feel like this stuff, like I just turn it on and you're good to go. You can go for hours. One of my favorites right now is, what is it like? It's like either, no. It's like 2000s hip hop, but lo-fi. And so there is a lot of like Post Malone remixes in lo-fi, and which I'm like, I'm not really sure what lo-fi means anymore, at least the way that people are using it. But I'm kind of really enjoying those. So I've been a big fan. Nico De Simone says hi from Italy. Good to see you, Nico. How are you? And then Shannon says, "Ko, I went on a long run today, and you and Leona's mantra in mind: chicken with head cut off. But I had to beat to the mantra. Ankle got so achy 2 hours in. Oh, okay. I mean, I think it could work. You know, your body tells you signals, but you know, you can always keep going. I hope it's not something serious though, Shannon. So I wouldn't want you to run through something that's going to hurt you. But yeah, I mean, it kind of works. You know, I've been using that. I've been like the head cut off thing. I've used it in workout since, where I'm just like You don't need a brain to run fast. You just got to go. So I'm like, head cut off, you know? So weird. Remy's here. What's going on, Remy? Good to see you. And Alex is here from San Jose. What's going on? Oh, no. Yeah, Alex. It says Neil Duran Orozco, but then it says Alex is here from San Jose. So, Alex, welcome. All right. Someone had a question up here. Let me get to it. Here it is. James Barrera says, hey, Co, how do you stay motivated to run when going through a hard time? Life's hitting me. I don't want to lose running. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, James. That life's hitting you. You don't want to lose running. I think that one of the things to think about then, it sounds like there might be some, priorities or something like that you got to maybe reshuffle, and kind of reevaluate stuff. And so like, if you want to keep the running up front, one of the things that I do is I put it in the front of the day. I try to treat my day in like diminishing order of like importance, right? The things that I want to make sure that I get done, the kind of like, think of it as like the people I want to pay first, I put first, right? And so in the morning, the first thing I do is I make YouTube videos. Then I go for a run. And then I come home and it's like family time. Not that family comes third, but that's the time of day when family stuff has to happen. Some things are time dependent. So like I try to just reshuffle things and make sure I'm setting up priorities. And then I think about what are the things that are easy to cut, So that's how I stay motivated, is by making it easy to make some of the choices that I want to make. I always try to do things. I always try to run downhill in another way of saying it. So like, if like finding the time to run is like a hard thing, or finding the energy to run. What are the things that you're spending your energy on? I think a lot of people, I don't know about you, James, but I know something that I used to struggle with a lot was, people want to spend a lot of time, being caught up with all the Netflix shows or the Disney shows, watching sports. I don't really do a lot of that stuff anymore because, I try to think of it like 5 years down the line, which will I be more glad that I was up to date on, my running or like WandaVision, which is a show I do really want to watch. And I don't think there's anything wrong with watching it, but I haven't watched any of it. Just because I don't make time for TV, but I do try to make time for the things that I like, that I want to make sure I get done. All right, let's see. Luis Becerra's run today though was sponsored by Rage Against the Machine. Nice. Rage Against the Machine doesn't come up a lot in my music. Although like that's all I used to listen. Well, not all, but a big portion of what I used to listen to like in high school. Yeah. Rick Sutter says, I'm an academic, so odd people like Post Malone isn't a stretch. In the dark ages, you weren't stoned to death for being weird. You were either in the monastic tradition or a professor. Okay, so it fits for you. Nice. All right. Phil Ortman says, Samurai Champloo on Cartoon Network circa 2006 introduced me to lo-fi and I've been listening to it for work study ever since. Oh, I'm not familiar with that. But yeah, I mean, I graduated from college in 2001 and I was in law school from like 2005 to 2008. So I don't, trying to think of, because that internet music would have existed then. I'm not sure. I think I listened to a lot of Pandora. Yeah, I was definitely listening to a lot of Pandora. So Pandora existed back then, didn't it? Maybe it didn't. I'm trying to think. What was I doing? I don't know. I did a lot of working, but I don't know if I did a lot of studying so much. I don't know. I was very busy, it felt like. All right. Dylan P says, my secret for running is club music. For studying, I prefer slow music because it doesn't distract as much. Yeah, I mean, that's why I love those like lo-fi mixes, because it just seems like one long thought, And so like, it's not like 3-minute songs where like there's definitely like a beginning, a crescendo, and then, resolution. So like, it's just like kind of just, it permeates, and I think that helps me for focus. But I don't have anything that I like need to, I don't have anything that I get to focus like that on anymore. My attention is frequently very diverted. I'm lucky to get in enough time for stuff when I can. I would say the challenge for me now is not so much that I don't have big projects that I have to like sit down and like focus for like 3 to 5 hours straight. I have to find the time to fit in as much work in the amount of time I have. And so my bigger challenge is to like, I find myself doing a lot of shuffling that seems like work, that seems like productivity, but it's not, So like trying to figure out what is just busyness and what is like productivity is where I'm trying to like make my like real gains, I guess. All right, the Hoss Dog 1 says, given the Vaporfly 2 is due to be lower in price than the 1 and the Adios Ata Zero Pro available at a lower price, do you see a big market for the ASICS Metaspeed Sky? It's due to release soon. I think there'll be a lot of interest for that shoe because it's the Sarah Hall shoe. And I think so. Because, a lot of people are not really that interested in how tall the Adios Pro is. And so I'm not sure exactly where the Metaspeed Sky falls in, but I'm not sure that it's as tall. So, I mean, I think that there will be. And I think they're going to sell a lot of units. I don't remember her name, but it looks like the winner of that, there was some sort of indoor triathlon yesterday. I think the winner was running in what looked like a blue Meta Racer upper and then a different kind of high stack height midsole. So I feel like, a lot of people are in it, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of demand for it. And there are some people that are like, I'm not interested in the Vaporfly. I don't really want to run in an Adidas. ASICS option might be really palatable for a lot of people too. So I think so. It'll be exciting to see. Chris Fair said, spotted Kofuzi in the wild for the first time today. Waved to you on the Lakefront Trail. What's going on, Chris? I saw a couple people out there today. Hopefully I waved back to you. So I thought I said hi to everyone that I saw today. I always try to make sure I do, even if I'm going to work out. But today was an easy day, so it would have been pretty easy as long as I heard you. But I did have the music kind of loud today. So good to see you, Chris. Hopefully I saw you, Chris, and good to see you out there. Shannon says, for her music, contemporary pop music, but all orchestral is how I like to work. Oh, I could go with that too. I like that. I like to tell my wife likes jazz music a lot, and I generally don't like jazz. I don't think I'm smart enough to like jazz. But I tell my wife I only like jazz when I already know the song, like ahead of time, But if I don't know the piece, or whatever song they're basing off of or playing off of, then it just sounds like noise kind of to me sometimes. But I feel like contemporary pop music, but orchestral. That's kind of like how I like my jazz music, I think. Chris Dyke had his first hill workout in forever. He says he missed living near hills. See, but I do miss the hills in New Vienna because I felt like I was getting a good workout from them, and I just felt like it did make me strong in a different way. But on the other hand, I really don't miss hills all that much. But I feel like, oh man, this summer I definitely got to find some time to make sure I'm getting some of that hill work in. Or McGowan says, where'd it go? Or McGowan says, is 145 beats per minute a good and easy long run heart run? I would think so for you, Oren, because you're a little bit younger. So I'd say that's a very good heart rate. But it's going to be somewhat relative. But I mean, just based on your age, I think that 145 beats per minute is pretty good for your long run. Mank Ed says, hello. What's going on, Mank? Good to see you. Ozen Backstro says, I sometimes get flashbacks to my days of raving when certain tunes come on and I get goosebumps. Also might be grinning and gurning like a loon sometimes. All right. Oh, it's fun. That's fun. Jola says, if you don't mind, what software do you use to edit your 360 shots? So there's kind of two pieces of software you need. One is, I guess I could do it all in Final Cut. But with a 360 camera, it's capturing everything, but I'm reframing it just to look at 1080 by 1920 by 1080 at a time. And so you have to kind of tell it where to look and when to look at each spot. Right. And so that software, I use the Insta360 Studio software, the software that comes with the camera. And then I use that to export just like a regular video file, a flat video file, if you want to think of it that way, that I can't move around in anymore, where all the movements are now like set. Then I put that into Final Cut and then I edit that just like a regular piece of footage. So those are the two pieces. All right, Teddy Jordan says, Kofuzi, Under Armour has released info just this month about how to operate their watch app on Samsung watches. And guess what? It views a fully detailed map during your run from Google Maps. That's nice. That's nice. See, like I get very excited about stuff like that. On like Wear OS. I don't know. Is Samsung still not? Is it Samsung no longer Wear OS? Are they just? Is Tizen still what they're using? I have no idea. I haven't looked at a Samsung watch in forever. But my biggest concern with the watches on the Wear OS side is like, okay, will I be able to attach a power meter to it? I'm pretty sure I'll be able to attach a heart rate monitor to it, but what about a power meter? And then can I customize data fields? Can I have structured workouts? Like I find a lot of the apps, they don't go that far. So that'd be my bigger concern. So I'll take a look at that in terms of if there's any information available from Under Armour, but I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a long time until I look at another like Wear OS type watch. Like I think is Sunto, like the Sunto 7 still a Wear OS watch? Like I don't know how they're doing that. I don't know how like our people are happy with that. I'm not sure. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And Terry Jordan said, yes, it still ties in. Okay. And New Betcher says, Wear OS feels like it's been abandoned. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's so difficult to do it. I don't know if it's a budgeting issue. They're just not like paying for the people, like the app makers aren't paying for the developers to do the work. Maybe they don't have in-house talent anymore. You know what I mean? And so like to do that, they have to contract it out. And so that way every update costs money. So I'm not sure. Yeah. All right. And Terry Jordan says it has 3 pages of data fields and a page for a map. I do like that. I mean, like you have that capability in Work Outdoors for the Apple Watch, and that one works nice as long as you're getting good data. The one time I got really lost up in Devil's Lake, Wisconsin, I had no cellular data. And so I looked at I could see myself as a little dot in the middle of a black and white grid. That was it, because I wasn't getting any data. So that was not optimal. But I don't know how you solve that. Like maybe you can make it like download maps for wherever you are. But I drove to get there from our hotel when we were up in Wisconsin. So yeah. Ooh, Evan says, and Evan would know, Wear OS has an app called Sporty Go that can connect a power meter. I might have to take a look at that then. Because I liked the TicWatch Pro as like a watch, but like I just felt like I couldn't run with it at all. And Remy says, Wear OS is undergoing some big changes. Google bought Fitbit, but haven't been able to do much yet. It's a COVID casualty. I remember hearing about that, and I was like, ooh, what are they going to do there? That'll be interesting to see what they can, if they just, I mean, I don't know if it's like, are they going to ruin the brand, or are they going to make it bigger than it could have gotten on its own? Who knows? Matt Legrand says, great videos this week. Good overview of the Polar Watches. Thanks, Matt. I take that as a high compliment because I know Matt really knows what he's talking about with the Polar Watches and with watches in general. So thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Shedder says, that's a nice dog there, Shedder. That's a good dog. So how to interpret salt loss after a long run? Covered in white powder. Does this mean I have excessive salt and I'm shedding it, which is good? Or does it mean my body requires more and need to replenish ASAP? I mean, if you get a lot of that white powder, that does mean that you sweat quite a bit. or it may mean that your salt is like relatively sweaty. I get that sometimes. I get that frequently in marathons. And I do feel like that. I mean, I'm a very salty sweater. Now, I remember I've heard from other people that have had their sweat analyzed. And I most recently heard about Megan at Believe in the Run talking about how she had her sweat analyzed. And it's like a test. I think you like literally like collect the sweat, like you rub your arm and then send it somewhere. And then they can like determine the salt content from it. And what I think it means is this: you have to be a little bit more mindful that you're replenishing electrolytes during your activities. Maybe not every single run, but like for race purposes, you know, I would, if you're looking at a range of like how much sodium do I need to be taking in an hour? And I don't remember the numbers that I normally use off the top of my head. There's usually like a range. I usually look for the top end of the range because I get that like white powder residue as well. That's my understanding of what that means. So. Oh, Nubetra says, Gatorade makes a patchy wear for sweat analysis? Now that makes sense. I want to get that. I want to try that. Very cool. Sam Gazinski says, any tips for running hungover? Been putting off my run all day after Syracuse's loss last night. I would say you just got to get it done. It's not going to get any better the later. I mean, it might get a little bit better later in the day. But I'd say just go out there. Don't worry about getting a super long run in. Just worry about like flushing your system, getting the heartbeat up, you know, not up. You don't have to go run like intervals, but like get your heartbeat up to like running heart rate and then, flush the system. I would chug a whole bunch of sport drink beforehand, again, to just rehydrate and replenish. And then also make sure you're rehydrating afterwards. And the name of the game is flushing, like the system, not flushing the toilet necessarily, but that'll probably happen too. All right. Melovello says, I like that MV on that little picture right here. Melovello says, I just ran in the Boston 9s for the first time, and it's not as comfortable as I was expecting, especially compared to Solar Boosts, which is what I was coming from. Same for you? Not as comfortable. I would probably say, yeah. It's a lot lighter. It's a lot more nimble. It's a lot more of what I like in a running shoe. The Solar Boost for me tends to be like a very heavy daily trainer, very padded, excessively so in my opinion for the most part, which seems to be like Adidas's approach. I mean, that's what they're doing. The Solar Boost, I mean, I think they're on the third version now of it. It's the fourth year of the Solar Boost, but the third version, because I don't think there was one last year, if I'm correct. But it's always kind of like extra padded, looks sleek. It's almost kind of like a neoprene type of material, and like sometimes some stretchy knit. So like it's definitely a little bit, just kind of like overall a little bit bulkier in my mind, but that also makes it more comfortable. The Boston 9 is going to be a little bit more stripped down. And I prefer that. I like that. It just seems to be a little bit more straightforward to me, but it's definitely come down to preference. But also I would try a different range of paces. I would say like both shoes can exist in the closet at the same time. The Solar Boost being for your daily training, and then the Boston 9 for your long runs that are going to be a little bit faster. I do think that like when I look at Adidas athletes in terms of what Adidas sends them to be running in, I think they're sending them Solar Boosts for their daily training. And then sometimes they're getting SL20s as well, which I think is pretty awesome. I don't know that they're always getting Boston 9s or Bostons. Because I'm trying to think of like when Tin Man does like an unboxing, they're not getting Bostons. I'm trying to think like other Adidas runners like Dana Giordano, Erica Kemp. Like I see them in Ultra Boost, Solar Boost, and then like Adios Pro. And then maybe the Auto Zero Pro. But I do like the Boston 9. I feel like that's a shoe that you can train for your marathon in and race in it as well. All right, let's see. Nolan Park says, Nova Blast versus Zoom X Invincible. That's a close one. I'm not sure. I haven't run into the Nova Blast in a while because I got rid of it a while ago. So it's hard. So I'm going for memory, and I feel like that always gives a little bit of an unfair edge to a shoe. I might give it to the Invincible, but Something that I noticed today in the Invincible is, which is unusual, and I got to kind of like investigate it a little bit further, is that it started to bother my right foot a little bit. And every once in a while, I'll start to get something that feels like kind of like a Morton's neuroma. Like I got a pebble in my shoe right under the ball of my foot. Today, it felt like my sock was bunching up like underneath my foot, like in between my big toe and my big toe and my next toe, even though my sock wasn't bunched up. And so I was starting to feel that today. And that's the first time I felt that in a shoe that wasn't React foam. Usually if it's like a really thick React mix sole, then I might feel it, like in the Zoom Fly 2 or the Zoom Fly 3. Those are usually the only ones. But this is the Zoom X, so it was a little bit of a surprise. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But other than that, I really do enjoy the Zoom X Invincible. But I do think the Nova Blast has a little bit more range in terms of speeds. I don't really like going fast in the Zoom X Invincible, but I didn't mind going fast in the Nova Blast. If I were to pick right now, I'd probably pick the Zoom X Invincible because that's the newer one. But I'm not sure that necessarily means it's better. But that's what I'd go with right now. That's my gut. Remy agrees, though, that the Boston and the Solar make a good 1-2 punch. Thanks for the backup. Yeah, I think that's a good way to train. I could definitely go with that. I'd rather have the Boston and a Solar than an Ultra Boost and a Boston, for sure. Ben Y says, Mike, how do you like that Yeti mug? Think about picking one up. I love this one. I'm trying to see what size it is. I don't know what size it is, but this size is perfect for the amount of coffee that I like to drink. I know it keeps it really hot. And so I can get like a super tall one and I'd be fine. But like just like this is, not obnoxious to carry around. And I do have like the spill proof lid. So you can put this in a bag like sideways and it won't spill. It works really well. And this is not Spawn for sure. They should sponsor me though, but I would love it. But and it keeps the beverages hot for like forever. So I highly recommend. It's expensive, but I feel like it definitely is one of those things where it's worth it. New Betcher says one of the Tin Man guys did a video rundown of his rotation and had an Adazero RC in there too. See, that's one. I think the RC and the SL20 version one, the only difference was like 2 millimeters of stack height in terms of the light strike foam. I think that was the only difference. Otherwise, I'm not sure if there's anything else different than that. Oren wants to know, what's my heart rate at 8 minutes per mile pace? Probably like 150, 155, maybe 150, something like that. Maybe a little bit higher. Depends on the day. I mean, and what I mean by that is depends on how like rested I feel. If I'm really tired and need recovery, it's going to take a lot more than that to get there. But like if I'm pretty rested, a couple of days from my last workout, then yeah, I think like 150 will get me there. Matty Mac says, looking for an affordable gel option. Suggestions, anyone? Well, I think that Goo makes the cheapest ones, and they have tons of flavors. So you could probably find one that you don't think is terrible. I think that's probably your best hope with Goos. I do like the Goo Roctanes. I don't know if they're more expensive or not, but there's like a chocolate coconut one. That's my favorite of the Goos. The other gel that I really enjoy in terms of like price per unit, Cliff Shots, also pretty affordable. There's a mocha one that has a little bit of caffeine in it. I like that one. And then I also like Science and Sport. That's also pretty cheap per unit. So those are the ones that I would look for. I usually buy like a couple of expensive ones and then a lot of cheap ones and kind of like mix it up a little bit for my running. Let's see. Andrew Strauss says, though, talking about the Invincibles, he's had to send his back. It caused the bottom of his feet to go numb 4 to 5 miles in. I think what's going on with that, is that I think the arch is high on that shoe. So I think it pokes people's arches. I know that it does that to me again on my right foot. It's kind of, I think it's poking my arch. And what that does is it like impinges flow a little bit, blood flow. I think that sometimes it gives me that numbness. It does make me really have to think about making sure I'm landing kind of like more flat. I think the reason why it's bothering me is because I'm landing. Well, something about that shoe is making me land a little bit more on the side of my foot than normal. I mean, I've been really thinking a lot about it, probably overthinking it, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that's like a little bit off, but I still overall I'm just really enjoying it, even though I have been talking about how much I'm having trouble with it. But yeah, I know what you mean about that. I think that's not uncommon. I think there's been people that have had that same issue. And Leona says for her, she likes Hammer. See, that's the one that I was looking on Amazon the other day to see if Hammer were on Amazon. I think that I would have tried it a long time ago. But I don't think that they are. I think that's the thing that's keeping me from trying Hammer. Solid SN 2011 says, greetings from Italy. I started Math Method because I watched your videos. Already within 2 weeks, I managed to improve my pace from 7 to 6:05. Nice. That's good improvement. Can't believe how fast I've improved already. Awesome. That's great. That's awesome. Mine took a lot longer than that. But welcome. And I wish you continued success along your math training. Excellent. Scott says, when you're not thinking of shoe review, which shoe would you grab for a quick out and back? Something that I would reach for if it's a quick out and back, something like a Rincon, Beacon 3. I mean, those are the shoes that are in my closet right now. So those are what I'm thinking of. 1080 version 11, I think is real nice for that. Maybe even the Ultra Boost, because it just feels more like an everyday shoe to me at this point. Boston 9 would be another good choice too. So those are like the kinds of shoes that I'm thinking of. I suspect the Mach 4 will kind of fit in that way as well. So like that, those are the kinds of shoes that I tend to like them on kind of like the lighter side and not as cushioned, not as plush. I just don't like padding. I don't like the weight and all that stuff. So that's kind of where my ultimate preferences are. So that's kind of the shoes that I would look for. But a lot of times, I do have something that I'm kind of currently testing that usually falls within that category. That kind of helps. But these days, pretty much every run, it's like strategic. I don't usually have to be like, well, I'm going to take this carbon plated shoe on an easy run today because I need to put miles in on it. It's not usually that, because there's enough to test. That there's usually there's a daily trainer, there's at least one trail shoe, there's at least one max cushion shoe that I can kind of look at depending on whatever I need for the day. And then Jody has a question. Can you edit a thumbnail for a first video short today? I don't know. I don't know what shorts are really. And I haven't made any. I don't watch any of them on YouTube. So I don't know. I don't like looking at that kind of content on YouTube. When I'm on YouTube, I want something that's not shorts. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. All right. Wow. And it says my heart rate is 120 beats per minute on today's 8-minute mile short run. Wow. That's crazy. Your heart is super strong. That's awesome, Ennis. I'm envious of that. That's incredible. That's incredible. All right. Orm McGowan said, I pick up the Adidas RC2 for $40. Wow. They're an ounce lighter than the SL20 and they feel very fast. Yeah, I mean, I think they're like a racing shoe, aren't they? Is that what the racing stands for? I don't know what the RC stands for. Like there's at one point where there was like, and we end up talking about Takumi Sen every live stream. There was like the Takumi Sen, which I felt like wasn't available in the US for a really long time. And then there was the RC, and it was the RC 2.0. It wasn't just the RC, it was the RC 2.0, and then there was the SL20. All three shoes, which were all light strike midsole foams, and all within the same, very similar stack heights and very similar heel drops. And I was like, I don't understand the difference between any of these shoes, and they're all on discount all the time. Like I just didn't understand what Adidas was doing. I didn't understand anything what they were doing last year. Still so confusing. And then this year, they're still confusing because then they had the SL20 version 2 that came out. But here's another thing. Someone was mentioning on a video I did of the Pulse Boost HD. that I actually did like that shoe. I had the Pulse Boost HD Winter, which didn't feel very winterized. I feel like that was being a little bit generous, or much of a bit of a stretch for Adidas to call it that. But someone was confused because they were like, hey, there's a different Pulse Boost HD that's out there that's different from this shoe and the other Pulse Boost HD. They're like, I don't know what's up with that. I'm like, there is? So I'll have to go look. I haven't verified that myself. I don't know if that person was just confused between like Pulse Boost HD, like summer ready, or Pulse Boost HD winter and the Pulse Boost HD, or if there is another Pulse Boost HD and they're just not calling it version 2, which that's what they did with the SL20. So like, I don't know. Who knows what Adidas is doing? Yeah, Scotty. Everyone right now is like freaking out over Innis's heart rate. Innis is superior. Leona Wong, I'm envious too at Innis Dunbar. Mank Ed says 120 is low for 8-minute per mile pace. Awesome. Yeah. Amazing. Very cool. Yeah, and it says it's taking me 51 years to be superior at something. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Stevie76 weighing in on his procrastination in college involved taking my girlfriend's jet ski for a spin around Lake Austin in the middle of the week. Well, that's fun. I didn't know you could do that. I don't know if maybe Lake Austin means something else than what I think it means. That's not like Lady Bird Lake, right? Because I don't think I've seen any watercraft on that. But I guess the time that I was in Austin was in like February. Might not have been time for jet skis and stuff. New Bedros, this reminds me of the 2 different shoes called Boston 8. Exactly. And that's what I said to that person that commented. I was like, if they're doing it with a Pulse Boost HD, it's not the only time they've done something weird like that. There's currently 2 different kinds of SL20s, both called SL20. And there was a point where there were 2 different kinds of Boston 8s with completely different midsole foams, but they were both called the Boston 8. And I was just like, I don't know what Adidas does. I don't know. I feel like they're just trying to game something with like search engine optimization or something. They're like, we're getting good hits off that Boston 8 or getting good hits off Pulse Boost HD. So we're just name the new one Pulse Boost HD so people keep buying it. So, you know what I mean? I feel like there's something that they're trying to like hack or game the system in some sort of way. Takoyaki Runner, which is a username I really enjoy, says, thanks for the Polar Watch video. Help me make my choice of next fitness tracker. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoy. I'm glad it was helpful. All right. Paigu says, have you heard of muscle oxygen saturation monitoring? At least use it over HR monitoring. I have not heard of that. But what I am interested in trying, and I got to go find my Polar H9 or H10 to do it, is heart rate variability monitoring. So I'm familiar with heart rate variability monitoring for overnight to measure like my recovery. But I follow Steven Seiler, sports scientist, on Twitter, and he was talking about something one of his colleagues had published about using heart rate variability during a workout to figure out what your like physiologic easy level could be, and saying that it was much more accurate than heart rate or rate of perceived exertion or any other kind of metric. It's just like always spot on. You look for like a certain number. If it increases over like 0.7 of some sort of factor, then you're beyond easy for what your body thinks is easy, like aerobically speaking. And I have all the tools that I need to do it. I bought an app. It was like $10 app on the Apple Watch store, or like what do they call that? iWatch store? I don't know. Whatever. It's for your Apple Watch. And then you just need a chest strap or any sort of heart rate monitor that can give you heart rate variability during an activity, which I believe the Polar H9 and the Polar H10 can do. So that's something that I'm interested in like exploring a little bit next, tinkering around with. But I've not heard of muscle oxygen saturation. I'm not sure how you would do that outside of like inserting sensors into your muscle. So that's a little bit that I think that would make it a little bit less accessible for a lot of people. Joni says, speaking about heart rate, I'm just thinking about going for a run and his heart rate is higher than 120. That's what, I mean, there are some times where I get downstairs from inside the building and I'll walk out and I'll, get my watch started and it'll tell me like my current heart rate and I'll be at like 110, just like walking outside the building, and then if I stand still for like a second, it quickly drops to like 90, 85 before I get started running. But like, yeah, it doesn't take me much to get like to over 100. But then I think that there is kind of like a big jump between like 110 to like 130 is like takes a little bit more. But like to get from resting heart rate to like 100, yeah, just thinking about running could probably do that for me. La Pizza says, hey Ko, have you ever run an Ekiden? Are you planning to? I've never run an Ekiden in terms of one with a sash that gets passed, so like not an official, like a real Ekiden. I've done a Ragnar relay, which I don't know if they have that where you are, La Pizza. I think you're in Italy. But Ragnar relays, it's the idea similar. Instead, you have like a slap bracelet. So it's a relay and you have a team. Depending on, there's a trail version and then there's a road version. And depending on which version you do, the number of people on your team changes. But it's kind of a race, but it's more just kind of like a weekend long running festival, which I think is kind of fun. So I've definitely enjoyed doing those before. I did the ASICS virtual Ekiden. I did that with Andy, Ed, and Emily. So that was a lot of fun, and hopefully I get to do a real one with them somewhere at some point. That'd also be a lot of fun to do. But yeah, I love the format. I think there should be more of that. I definitely think there should be more of that. I mean, Maryland and Baltimore, their marathon weekend, they call it their running festival. Because there's like a 5K, a half marathon, a marathon, and a marathon relay. I think that we should do more stuff like that. People should do more marathon relays. I just love the idea. Steve Knight says, can you recommend anything like the Pegasus Turbo 2? That's hard because there's not a lot of shoes like the Pegasus Turbo 2, which is why it's so disappointing that it's gone. There's a lot of shoes that are like that have those kind of that can be used kind of similarly, but none that quite have that feeling. Which is why, again, I'm really just disappointed there wasn't a Turbo 3. But other shoes that I would consider might be the Beacon. That's probably going to feel a little bit more firm than you're looking for than the Turbo 2. Another one I'd look at might be the Rincon or the Boston 9, which we've talked about earlier today. But those aren't going to be quite as springy. The Rincon's going to feel a lot more just cushioned. There's going to be a lot more stack height to it. I might also look at the Nova Blast, but that's going to feel a lot squishier. That's also something that you can use kind of similarly to the Turbo. So those are some that come to mind off the top of my head. Oh, the New Balance Rebel. That's probably one of the closest shoes that I can think of to that. I haven't tried the Rebel 2 yet, but I have a feeling that's going to be one that's really close. All right. I'm going to have to get going soon for today, guys, because my camera, it's just overheating like crazy. So overheating again today. All right, let's do one more for today. All right, let's get one more here. Ooh, Martha says CIM relay uses an ankle strap with a chip at a Velcro closing. I keep CIM has a marathon relay. I keep forgetting about that. I'll have to look into that because I feel like that's something fun that we can do together, guys. I feel like that's something we should try and figure out. I'll look into that. I'll definitely look into that. Okay. Pizza says, I may be a pizza lover, but I'm French, not Italian. Sorry about that. Mistook the countries. I'll remember that for next time. All right. Very cool. All right, guys. Oh, let's do this one last one. Ko, what's your resting heart rate? Let's see what it is right now. Let's see. Right now I'm at 78, 77. So I'm a little bit warm in here. I'm a little hopped up on coffee. It's very hot. I could see why my camera overheated. So that's a little bit higher than normal. I'd say my resting heart rate, if I kind of like think about it like a couple minutes after I wake up, probably around like 55 to 60, I think is probably normal. But maybe not, because a lot of times my sleeping heart rate is 55 or right around that area. So maybe 60 to 65. Seems high, but maybe that's somewhere around there. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be reviewing these headphones that I've been wearing for the past couple of days, telling you about that. And then we'll have another live stream, Monday mukbang. I don't have any runner snacks prepared. I did have one, but it turned out every flavor had peanut butter in it. So I just ended up throwing them away because I didn't want to deal with the peanut butter products in the house. So I'll think of something. It's probably going to be pizza. Hopefully it'll be pizza. So that'll be the Monday mukbang tomorrow, same time as today, 3 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.